Hey everyone, it is April 30th. I haven't done a video for a while. I am so exhausted. Mostly I'm exhausted because even though it's Friday now, this past Sunday I went to a wedding, and the wedding was about a 3-hour drive away. And then we were there for 5 hours, and the wedding was still going when we left, and then there was a 3-hour drive back. And it was a beautiful venue. I never saw a wedding cake, so I'm not sure what happened because there just was no wedding cake that I saw. Now, maybe after I left, with the landlady, it was her cousin's daughter. So maybe after we left, they cut cake somewhere, but we never saw a cake. But it was a beautiful wedding. It was outdoors, and well, the ceremony was outdoors, but then there was this huge tented area where we had a full course dinner reception and hors d'oeuvres and everything. Beautiful, beautiful table settings, and you had your choice when you made your reservation of either, I think it was chicken marsala or tri-tip, and I chose the tri-tip, and it was okay. A free meal is always a good thing. And anyways, but that was a completely exhausting day, partly because I was the driver, and you know, when you're the driver, you just have to pay attention 100% of the time. And so going down there, we went in the daylight, but coming back, it was night. I was driving, I mean, it was on the main freeway, but still it was not familiar territory to me. So then I'm like, okay, well, how far are we from where we need to get off on this exit and this exit, you know? So it was a little exhausting. And then on Monday, no time to rest, had to get the landlady to the hairdresser. Then on Tuesday, there was something else. Oh, I had to get up early because we were having an inspection. It was an environmental inspection, but they had to come into all the units. It is for the potential buyer's loan. I guess that had been getting held up on the environmental issues. So I still don't know what's happening with that. But I do know that now, at the latest, we will have to be moved out by next May, but we don't know that the loan's going to go through. So there's a lot of issues with this property. I mean, the property was initially listed as a tear down for somebody to just raise the whole thing and put up condos. But this particular buyer said no, she wanted to live on the property, but there are problems with the property, which is why it was being sold as a tear down. Anyhow, I just have not had a lot of rest this week, and I'm almost done with this latest Spring Fling Afghan. I have been recording bits as I've been going. I should be done with it in a few hours. But I should have a video up, I don't know, sometime in early May. And what else? I mean, there's not that much going on at the moment. Just exhaustion. Oh, but last night, I was caught one of the cats. There's 4 outdoor cats here, and one of them had a fledgling sparrow in its mouth and was playing with it. So I rescued the sparrow, and I thought, oh, this thing is going to go into shock. It's not going to survive. And it just seemed like it was already in shock. And it was bleeding out of its head and seemed to have like a little chest wound, or maybe just a place where some feathers were lost on the chest. I don't know, it's a fledgling, so maybe it just didn't have those feathers. But I took one of my large leftover Gladware containers and I punched holes in it and put it in there with the lid on it, and I gave it a little sugar water and it perked up, and I released it today. I put it back in the tree. Well, there's a little camellia bush tree outside my door, and I put it in there because the sparrows are always going in there. And I checked on it a few times and it was still there, and I just went out a few minutes ago and looked, and it's either crawled to a different place in the tree or it's gone. Maybe one of the cats got it. I don't know. I couldn't get the thing to eat. I got it to drink that little bit of sugar water, but it was perked up and chirping and ready to go, so I can only do what I can do and let nature take its course, and hopefully the little thing survived. It was out there chirping away for its parents, so but it's a fledgling, so it's not really flying. It's hopping around but not flying. Hello everyone, in the continuing saga, it is now May 2nd, and oh my goodness, what have I been up to since I finished that Afghan, which I finished on Friday. And I washed it yesterday, and now I just need to package it up because it's going out in the mail tomorrow. So, I don't know if my cousin is watching this. My cousin bought it for a friend of hers. So, cuz, if you are watching, don't show this video to your friend because I kind of want it to be a surprise. But for all my regular viewers, here is a picture of the center of the Afghan. And here is a picture of the entire Afghan. Okay, that is the 6th version of that Afghan that I've done. I've done 5 of them since January, and I'm taking a break. I don't know when I'm going to do another one. I assume I probably will do another one at some point. I did have a friend contact me the other day and she asked me to do a baby blanket for her, but I'm waiting to hear back on that. And oh, I think we got a helicopter overhead or something. Anyways, yeah, so that's what's been going on with my crochet. I've sort of been just cleaning up. I have about 3/4 of a bag of yarn, small yarn cakes that I've made with the leftover yarn. And I took video as I was working on the Afghan so that I could make a tips and tricks for making it. And I don't go over every single row because that's not even necessary, but there's some rows that there are little tricks to thinking about the counting, or okay, this is one big mistake I made, not on this blanket but on the one before, where I just carried up my yarn a little too far, and then I discovered I had made a mistake. So I kind of got furious with myself, and I'm ripping out that row that had been carried up, and all of a sudden I undercut other rows. Now I have to go back and fix those rows because they don't have any foundation anymore. Yeah, so be careful how much you carry up your yarn on certain projects, because if you have to rip things out and you have other colors, you have to be very careful how far you rip and be very gentle with ripping out, or you just may undermine other rows. So And another thing about that kind of blanket is stagger where you stop and start. Because usually if I started one row in a certain place, I would turn the Afghan like a quarter turn and start the next row in a different place and so forth. Because yeah, it's kind of, you don't want to start and stop your rows in exactly the same place all the time, because that's a pain. Anyhow, so let's see. Still, I think I'm kind of recovered from that wedding. That was just so exhausting, but it was so beautiful. And what I didn't tell you the last time was where the actual wedding took place, which was outside. There were these trees that were just overhanging, and the trees had these little tiny leaves on them. I don't know what kind of tree they were. They were huge trees though, and those little leaves were constantly falling down on us. But from those trees, and it would have looked really pretty at night, but in the day it still looked pretty, as they had all these little fairy lights strung down, and they were lit up, but you know, in the daytime it wouldn't have been as pretty as it would have been at night to have all those little fairy lights hanging down. And I wish I'd gotten a picture of this big bouquet that was just in these gorgeous colors up above where the pastor stood with the couple. And the bouquet was, the roses were, it was just very like sage greens and very pale pinks, or it's kind of a dusty rose and sage, and it was just gorgeous. And that was kind of the color theme. Now all the bridesmaids, I think she had 10 bridesmaids, they all wore light pink, and the bridegrooms all wore more like a navy, but they didn't wear jackets, they just wore the vest and the shirts, and anyways, it was just gorgeous. And then there was this giant tented area, which is like a permanent fixture because it's a wedding facility location kind of place. And in really hot days you could roll up the sides or open up the sides, but they had the sides mostly down, and it was just gorgeous. I'm gonna put up a couple pictures of the little table decorations, and you'll see my name card for my place has a little cow on it, and that's because I ordered tri-tip, and if you ordered the chicken marsala, yours had a little chicken on it. So I never saw a wedding cake, and we didn't stay for the whole thing. I mean, once they started dancing, we stayed for the bride and groom dance, and the bride and the dad dance, and the groom and the mother dance. And then there was some general dancing. We didn't stay too much after that. So if there was cake, we never saw it. So I don't know. It was a long drive back. Oh my goodness. Through interstate that I'm not used to traveling. It was okay. It's just, you know, I've got two people, like I had the landlady beside me and her sister-in-law in the back seat. And the sister-in-law's phone was giving GPS updates every now and then. But some of the roads were just not well marked. That we wanted to turn on this one freeway and it wasn't well marked. And that was fine. We just took a different freeway. But anyways, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I think I'm recovered from that. But it took a while. And today I have just been working on a few little things. I had to clean the bird cage, which I'm embarrassed to say was appalling. I don't think the bird minded, but I minded. And I had to photograph the Afghan, and I had to get my taxes ready. So I discovered that looking at my bank statements to find out when I'd been paid and how much I'd been paid was absolutely of no help. So luckily I have a very good system of keeping track of all my hours, and so I just went week by week and said how much that week was worth and added it up that way. Doesn't match my bank statement, I could care less, because sometimes you get paid, you don't deposit it right away anyway, so it doesn't match when my work week ends anyhow. And I used to be able to make deposits with my phone, and now my phone, even though it's an iPhone 6, cannot be upgraded to do that anymore. So that's annoying. I have to go to the bank. So anyhow, and you know those geraniums that I got recently, I still haven't planted them. I mean, everything, when I make one of those Afghans, pretty much everything stops. Just my whole world just stops. And so yeah, they're still waiting to be planted, but I'm just nursing them along. They get watered every couple days, and they're still in their containers. And I want to find, well, I need to get potting soil, and I might want to find something to plant them all in, something kind of long and rectangular. But anyhow, so that's kind of what's been going on here. This is a long video. If you've stuck through the whole thing, blessings to you, my friends, and we will talk to you soon. Much sooner than I've been posting videos, I promise. Now that those big Afghans are out of the way. So I will talk to you again soon.